Don't know how to start this video, so I think all I'm going to say is well done, Northampton, for having the desire to go and win the game. Hello everybody and welcome back to OUFC Fan View for another review of this Oxford United season. Today, the U's were on the road. The final game before Christmas. It was away at Northampton Town. After victory last weekend over Burton, there was renewed hope and renewed optimism from Oxford United fans and belief that this Des Buckingham era was finally getting started and we could see some more consistency in performance. Well, after having a week to prepare for Northampton Town, we came and we saw what we saw today. It wasn't great all the way through the game. We thought that we'd come away at least with a point, but Northampton nicked it late. Yes, it is defeat on the road once again. Oxford United going through a really tough time at the moment. But credit to Northampton. As I said at the start, they showed the desire to go and win this game and kept pushing for that winner right the way to the end. And they finally got it with virtually the last kick of the game. It was a bit of a sickener, but I don't think Oxford deserved to win this game at all. And it finished Northampton Town 2. Oxford United 1. So the emotions are pretty raw and I'm pretty annoyed, but not so annoyed at the fact that we lost it last minute, more annoyed at just the flaws and the problems that are seeming to arise from this Oxford United squad. But we will get into all of it. We'll break down the team news. I'll do a match review. I'll tell you, I do not want to do player ratings. I might just drop them all together. I just can't be dealing with it. So I'm just going to go straight into my final thoughts after the match review. If you want to jump to any point of the video, please feel free to do so. It's absolutely fine. But if you do, please hit that like button because that actually does help me out quite a lot. And I need the help today just to give me that Christmas cheer. And if you do like the content, then consider subscribing. Thank you very much to Owen the Rail for giving me another super chat, giving me a £5 super chat. Very generous, very much appreciated. I did have those Christmas beers after that Burton game. I feel like I could do with a few more. Let's have a look at this Oxford United side there. Not really too much to say. It's an unchanged side from that side that beat Burton. That's not really surprising. That side played very well and deserved that chance to go out again, especially after having a week's rest. No new injury news, so we haven't added to injuries, which is good, but we're still waiting for those key players to come back. Moving on to Northampton Town, John Brady is doing a fantastic job with this Northampton Town side. The Cobblers sit 12th. They've probably moved up now. I haven't even wanted to look at the league table, but it is just one defeat from the last 7 games now, and that is they've won 4 out of the last 5 home games. They do make 2 changes from the side that drew 2-2 with Carlisle. Jordan Willis and Aaron McGowan come into defence. And looking at this Northampton Town side, my goodness, what Oxford would do for a player like Sam Hoskins. 12 league goals so far, and without a doubt he is the talisman of this side. But they do have a good spine to this team with like Mark Leonard in midfield and Sam Sherring at the back. So you can see why the Cobblers have been doing so well this season, and a couple of ex-Oxford United links in there as well. A couple of legends, Danny Hilton, ex-Oxford United striker, obviously there for the promotion season, and their chairman is Kelvin Thomas, who should need no introduction after he was there, oversaw Oxford coming back into the Football League. So let's break this game down then. And first half, I think you saw 2 very evenly matched sides. Oxford did look to try and press quite high in the first 10 minutes, and there were a couple of early sightings for Hoskins, but it was Oxford who had the best chance of the game, and probably their best chance of the whole game came after 14 minutes. And Mark Harris held the ball up really well and broke free from 2 Northampton defenders just inside the halfway, just inside the Northampton half. He started the break and he got Murphy in behind, running in at goal. Murphy was through. He was free. All he had to do was slot it in past Thompson, but he couldn't. It was a finish that lacked a lot of conviction. Thompson was able to save it with his legs. Good save from him. But Murphy, just like against Burton, an early chance to get that goal, failed to do it. But Oxford did look the most dangerous, as we have done in recent weeks when Josh Murphy was on the ball, and every time he got it, he did look dangerous. Put a wicked cross right across goal. not for the first time, Oxford players just not attacking it, and Broth was able to put it behind for a corner. And the game was starting to burst into life a little bit. And 22 minutes, a couple of quick attacks. Firstly, Pinnock got one-on-one with Bennett, and he beat Bennett, and it created a shooting chance on the edge of the box. But just like Murphy, his shot was pretty tame. Kieron Brown did a good job covering back, and it was easy for Beadle. And then Oxford, seemingly straight from that, went up the other end, and Murphy found Rodriguez, again from the edge of the box, but his shot drifted wide. Wasn't a wonderful game. I'm talking about these chances, but overall it wasn't a great game of football. You did have two similar sides that were cancelling each other's out. There were periods where not a lot was happening. There were times where sides were both happy to just sit off and pass the ball around. Northampton very comfortable in possession. Just a couple of half chances, really, some players getting into some good areas. There was a shot from Mills from the edge of the box, but again it was a tame finish. And Northampton from a free kick, it well worked short corner actually, got the ball in, and Shering actually got a little bit of space, but he couldn't sort his feet out, and Beadle was able to come out and smother. Right at the end of the half, Harris nearly got something for Oxford United. McGuane won the ball in midfield. Oxford were able to get Harris running in behind, and he actually got there before the defender and the goalkeeper who was coming out, but instead of shooting, he chose to cut back, and the chance kind of went away, and Harris played a poor ball which lacked quality, and that kind of summed up the first half. So it was an odd game at half-time, 0-0, some good stuff, some scrappy stuff, as I said, evenly matched side, and in some ways they looked quite identical of how they wanted to play. Both sides good in possession. There were times where both sides tried to press high, and both sides looked at their best when they actually shifted it a gear and moved the ball quickly with one-touch football. Murphy probably looked Oxford's best attacking options, and the likes of Northampton looked at their best when they got Hoskins or Pinnock on the ball. Oxford created the best chance through Murphy early in the game, but it was on as evens going into the second half. And we actually got a lot more action in this second half. Oxford made a half-time substitution. That was Kyler Goodrum coming on for Josh Murphy, and that worries me a little bit that Josh Murphy may have got slightly injured. Hopefully not, and if you can let me know down in the comments. But it was Northampton who seized control of this game in the early knockings of the second half. Oxford had a warning shot, and it was Bowie who got the goal eventually, but he was the one who also provided the warning shot 2 minutes before. Pinnock getting space down the left-hand side when he was able to get his foot on the ball and put crosses in. They will always look dangerous, and Bowie got a header on it in between Brown and in between Moore, but luckily for Oxford it did hit the post and eventually went behind for a corner. But from that corner, Oxford failed to clear it away properly, and Northampton were able to keep the pressure on. Pinnock again, this time from the opposite side, puts a pinpoint cross right over, just over the top of Elliot Moore's head. This time Bowie much closer to goal. Second time lucky, he doesn't miss. Northampton 1-0 up. And what I kept coming back to with this goal was the willingness of Northampton's forwards to get into the box and try and get on the end of crosses, and how it's so different from what we see from Oxford United at the moment. With Pinnock getting those balls in, you saw players running in, trying to attack it, trying to make something happen. There was a chance where Murphy in the first half ran down the line, put a couple of wicked balls in, and Oxford just weren't brave enough in attacking it, just weren't getting the bodies into the box to attack it. And that's been a problem for a while now for Oxford United, going back into last season as well, and it just does not seem to be addressed. So we're behind in this game. You know how much we struggle when we are in from behind, when we just don't seem to be very good at coming back from losing positions. But Oxford did at least increase the intensity. 52 minutes, Brannagan drilled over from 25 yards after a good move. But Oxford did get back into the game, but not before Northampton had a chance to make it 2-0. And it would have been a heck of a goal if it would have come in. Some delightful one-touch passing, which cut Oxford United open between Leonard and between Hoskins. And Hoskins played a beautiful ball over the top for Leonard. It presented him with a great chance from about 10 yards out. But not for the first time today. We saw a weak finish and it went just wide. But just a minute later, Oxford United got back into the game, and seemingly it came out of nowhere. Brannagan, we saw this so much last weekend against Burton, where Brannagan or McGuane were able to get their foot on the ball and play Mills into space on that right-hand side. And it was like the first time we did it all game. Mills was one-on-one with Brough, and he got a few yards on him into the penalty area. Sived down by Brough. Blatant penalty for Oxford. Brannagan does the business, drilling it straight down the middle. Oxford back in at 1-1. Desperately needed it. Can't say we deserved it. Can we nick it? For about the next 10 minutes, there was a lot more energy into the game, and you did feel the game was getting stretched, but you just didn't see the quality from either side. They just couldn't get that final ball, that final pass to create meaningful chances. It nearly came from a mistake from James Beadle, who presented the ball straight to Pinnock, but he drove into the penalty area, but Oxford were able to get back and smuggle it back from a corner. Once again, Des Buckingham chooses to bring Mark Harris off, and so that for me just felt like Oxford were happy to sit on a point instead of going for two, which disappointed me. But it then, and from that point on, really the last 10-15 minutes of this game, Northampton were the side who were pushing on for the winner, and Oxford looked very leggy, and it looked like we were very much hanging on. A brilliant sliding tackle from Kieron Brown did deny Bowie from getting in on goal, but you just felt that Oxford United were hanging on from that final minute. And I have to say, John Brady, right at the end of the game, made 3 substitutions, and those 3 substitutions did more in those final 3 minutes, however long they were on, than all of Oxford's substitutions did in that second half. Simpson in particular looked lively and won a lot, really scared Kieron Brown. Kieron Brown had to take a book in. Then he kept the ball alive in the corner, which set up a Northampton attack. And once again, Oxford United were just failing to clear their lines. Gatlin O'Donker being very naive, giving away a foul on Danny Hilton, which enabled Northampton to get this final ball into the box. It's a wonderful ball in with pace, right where you want it. Stimpson's in the middle of the goal. He's about 5 yards out. He heads it. It hits Beadle. It goes in. You've heard this line from Jerome Sale talking about Oxford in positive light, saying Oxford get what they deserve. We got what we deserve in this one. Northampton were the side pushing for the victory. Credit to Northampton. They went on and win it. Problems. Let's break it down in my final thoughts. But as always with my final thoughts, I'll start with the home side, Northampton Town, and credit to Northampton. What a great season you're having. What a purple patch you're having at the moment under John Brady. And you can see why you're such a difficult side to play against. And I think you've got some really... You mix it up really well. I think you've got players that are comfortable on the ball. Got 2 very good holding midfielders in there, in McWilliams and in Sowerby. And it allows those forward players to kind of create. And when they could get Hoskins, when they could get Pinnock on the ball, they were very, very lively and caused Oxford threat. And I have to give them credit for, again, maybe in the first half didn't really create too many chances, but in that second half, just the desire of the forwards to get on the end of crosses or to try and make something happen was much more dangerous than what Oxford United possessed. And credit to Northampton for a fully deserved win. If there's any Northampton fans watching this out there, let me know your thoughts on the game, let me know your thoughts on the season, and good luck to you for the rest of it. And sadly, we move on to Oxford United, and this is worrying times. Once again, we've had a lot of time to prepare for an away game, and we seemingly turn up with very little plan of how we're going to attack the game, other than just give ball to Josh Murphy, and Josh Murphy tried to make something happen. Oxford looked very clueless and just so poor going forward. And I gotta say, as much as we keep saying, trying to sugarcoat Harris a little bit, of saying he's doing the hold-up work, he is shrinking as a forward every game that goes on in this goal drought. There was times where he could have pulled the trigger today. Times where he got to the edge of the box and you're just thinking, have a go. And he's so reluctant to shoot now. And that is creeping into this Oxford United side. And like what we saw last year, we're just kind of reduced to banging it from like 25 yards. Maybe Brannagan might get a bit of luck and smash one in from 25 yards. But we did have a chance in the first half from Murphy. But again, he's just so lacklustre in front of goal. And I do hope he's not injured. But it's so worrying and so disappointing that we turned up and we played like we did. There were a few moments in the game where Oxford played some okay football, but we needed so much more from the likes of Rodriguez, so much more from the likes of Harris, so much more from the likes of Goodrum when he came on, who looked okay, but didn't really provide too much of an attacking threat. Mills was largely anonymous in the game. He did win the penalty, but fair enough, but that was the only thing that he did. And Oxford really tired in this game, and it was Northampton who came on much the stronger side, and I don't really have an excuse for that. Yeah, it was a heavy pitch, tough conditions, but that's the same for both sides. And why can Northampton end the game so strongly and we end the game so weakly? And our subs just seem to make us weaker, really. And especially Gatlin O'Donkor. And I do feel sorry for him. And I hate sticking the boot in. But he is regressed so much. We've regressed as a team so much, I must say. But he's regressed so much that he barely looks like a footballer out there now. He just doesn't know. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. He barely gets a touch of the ball when he comes on now. So what is the point of bringing him on? I have to just say, it seemed like 0 point taking Mark Harris off for Gatlin O'Donkor, because you saw the likes of Simpson, who's a big, strong, powerful guy who came on, put himself about a bit, even in 3 minutes. And Gatlin O'Donkor did nothing. Very naive, giving away the foul on Danny Hilton, who was just looking for it in the corner. And I hate sticking the boot into him. But Oxford have to take the blame for this, because they've not helped Gatlin O'Donkor at all this season. And they could have easily let him go out on loan. And all of this just comes back to not getting the quality forwards in that we needed. And that is coming back to haunt us in spades. Away from home, we look very poor, and that's 3-4 away games under Des Buckingham, and we could have lost all 4 of them, really. Yes, we played slightly better in the Reading game, but yeah, it's been a tough start for Des Buckingham. He shows he's got a lot of work to do. We need a big response now on Boxing Day against a Cambridge side who are rejuvenated under Neil Harris. So that won't be an easy game at all. And of course, they beat us on the opening day of the season. There's going to be a lot of annoyance from Oxford United fans, and I totally get it, and it's totally deserved. Please remember it's Christmas, and try and give me some festive cheer as you no doubt vent your frustrations in the comment section. And this getting sucker punched right at the end of the game almost just couldn't sugarcoat the flaws in this side at the moment. If you'd have taken a 1-1 draw, there could have been some not too bad, as long as we win on Boxing Day. But that's all been ripped away now with that last-minute goal. And it really just shows in that second half. And there we go, Oxford United fans. Sometimes it's a pleasure to come on and talk about these reviews, and sometimes it's not. And this one isn't. Have a good Christmas, everyone. Have a great Christmas, and we'll go again on Boxing Day. And hopefully it'll be a lot better. Yikes, it's tough at the moment.